My name is Ben Rubin. I am CEO CEO and co-founder of HNT Labs. We're going to talk today about secure and free speech in a permissionless future, which is a big, fraudy topic. So I want to share my personal bias in free speech is that I believe that everyone is terribly flawed and also great at the same time, and there are no exceptions. So we're going to cover principles of design of decentralized communication network, and we're going to cover key opportunities that it opens up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm here. Then we're going to think about a new way to think about the attention markets, the platforms. And then we're going to talk about problems that arise from this, new ideas, and how it might work. So why am I here? I worked in communication my entire career. So 10 years ago, I founded a company for consumer communication. We built a couple of interesting products. One of them called Meerkat died in 2016. It was a live streaming project that got killed by Twitter. The other one was Houseparty, which was had a good run from 2016 to 2021. Had 100 million users and died. And the reason I bring them up because they both died from interesting reasons. One is because of an outside leverage, and the other one from an inside leverage, where the network kind of didn't control its destiny and got pulled down and essentially effectively died because of a leverage that did not exist, that was not from the constituents. So we're going to talk about how to secure the ability of humans to coordinate and collaborate, and how to do it with networks that resist internal leverage and external leverage. So I want to talk about the platforms that we know today, the Facebooks and the Twitters, and give a new framework to think about them. And I want us to think about Facebook as an exchange, like Coinbase or like NASDAQ, and it's an exchange of the attention market. And with that framework, like think about if every post is a sale, every interaction is a sale, and every time somebody reads the content is a buy order. And what it means, it really helps us kind of break down what is social network without all the fluff of the social, and think about where the dynamics of this exchange exist in this market, which is essentially to take attention and move it around and profit from the volume. So when we think about platforms in the current social network, Web 2, there are a couple factors that, once you look at it as an exchange of an attention market, influence how bad actors and good actors behave in this setting. So the first thing is dishonest actors in these platforms are in an advantageous position, meaning they get to start over while honest actors lose their reputation. Exchanges profit from volume. Dishonest versus honest attention is something that is really hard to prove. As I said, we're all terrible and all great, and we still don't know like what is good and what's bad on social networks. And the problem with that is that dishonest actors tend to create volume, and that works with the exchange's interest because they profit from volume. And the last part is that all participants must, in the social networks, Web 2 social networks, you have to stake your attention in order to participate. And the reason that's a problem is because the old price is not the new price. When social networks started, the internet was free, and people looked at it as some sort of a toy. And they thought, all right, nobody's going to pay for social networks, so we might as well charge them for attention. And they took the attention and they wrapped it out and sold it as a derivative to another parties to bid. But as the market matured over the past 15 years, it becomes clear that it has real-world implication, but it still have this weird price of attention inside of it. That means that people have, they get job, they lose job, they get canceled, you might elect the president, you might start a riot. All this real-world implication of social network, but the price inside is still attention. So we have these massive platforms that have real-world implication. We have bad actors that are in a better position than the good actors, and we don't really know what's good and what's bad. So if we want to think about, okay, how are we going to secure free speech in Web3 social, in a decentralized communication network? So first, we need to protect the system from inside leverage. It means that we need to do a better definition of what is understanding of what is a dishonest actor inside of the system. And then we need to have better leverage over the dishonest actor in the system. And we need to protect the system from outside leverage, meaning it needs to be end-to-end encrypted and it needs to be fully decentralized. And in the core of it all, we need to move away from attention as the medium of exchange to value as the medium of exchange, because otherwise we don't have leverage over the bad actors. The right side of it, which is protecting system from outside leverage, because of the context of this conference, I assume that everybody here agrees that to protect a network from outside leverage, we need it to be encrypted and fully decentralized. So I'm only going to focus on how to create a better definition of a dishonest actor in a decentralized communication platform, how to create a better leverage, and how those things actually set the scene to move away from attention as the medium of exchange to actually look at value as the medium of exchange. So how we might go about it? So right now, what is the definition of a dishonest actor? It's kind of what the platform decides is dishonest. And if you look at this purple dot, let's say it's a user, post something really funny on social network, and then a bunch of people like it, a bunch of people don't like it. A lot of people from the people who don't like it really didn't like it. And in that case, that content gets deplatformed. Either the content gets deplatformed or the user sits on the bench for a little bit. What I would like to suggest, and the opportunity that I think happens in a permissionless environment, is that the actor is actually viewed, a dishonest actor is actually viewed dishonest by the audience they address versus by the platform. And that can work in effectively creating sets of town squares where groups came together and decided what are the terms that they are willing to be addressed, how people can address them, and what would be the collateral if somebody behaves badly. What this allows us to do is effectively allow the purple dot to have happy relationship in some of the groups and have a better conversation with the groups that it upsets about why they thought the content was upsetting. So moving from a centralized audience to decentralized audience actually helps us create better definition of what is honest and dishonest, because it's just by the audience they address. Now we need to create leverage on a dishonest actor. And what's really cool is once you have a set of groups that have defined rules of how you can interact with them, they can actually say things like, hey, in our town square, if you want to address us, you need to put some collateral, because if you behave in a dishonest way, we'll be able to slash you effectively. So looking at users actually as nodes who participate in the network and they're going to be penalized for bad work, that's also something that is really important to guarantee some sort of a discourse in a permissionless nature. And effectively, how it can look like is a set of smart contracts that represent ownership, moderation, reputation, privacy, and are all secured on-chain. And when people execute read and write entitlements into the town square, they are able to then make a judgment and decide if something is honest or dishonest, and then basically, if they need to penalize, they penalize. So, going back to how we secure free speech, we need to protect the system from inside leverage. That means that we want to create local governance secured via smart contract, and understand that users are actually nodes that can get penalized on bad behavior. And what this is, basically, once we start thinking about those town squares as something that is programmable, you can lay the foundation of, oh, how can we then take those read and write entitlement and create stepping stones to move away from attention as a medium of exchange to value as a medium of exchange. So how might this might work? Effectively, once you have those set of groups that have their definition of how to address them and what are the terms, and you can actually work against that in a permissionless nature and have write or read entitlement, that group can decide, oh, I might create some read and write entitlements that are paid for, meaning they can solicit contribution, they can charge people for access, and they can also facilitate some economic activity that is based on the trust that is by the reputation between them. And that value essentially flows, could flow back to what handles moderation, ownership, reputation, and the network itself that facilitate that. So yeah, I guess we're good. So, I mean, we're talking about securing free speech in 15 minutes, so, and it's kind of tough, but on a high level, we want to protect the system that we build, any decentralized communication network. We want to protect it from inside leverage, meaning that bad actors that put content have some sort of accountability for their actions. So if you want it to be permissionless, there got to be some accountability. So we're talking about local governance secured by smart contracts per group, and we want to treat users as nodes that participate in some work in the network that can get penalized. Then we didn't dive into this, but we want to protect the system from outside leverage. And in the bottom, in the middle of all of this, I guess, is we need to move away from attention as the medium of exchange, and we need to focus on value as the medium of exchange. And yeah, great. Good question. Questions and answers? All right, cool. Thanks. If you're interested in learning about how something like this might look like as a product, we're building a product called Towns. It's a group chat protocol and an app. And this is kind of a fast way to get an access. So thank you very much.